Peter was the incarnation of vivacity. Bob was that of energy. He should have been called Thalaba, the destroyer. He rejoiced in demolition, not from ill temper, but from the sheer delight of energizing. When I first knew him, he was at Blinkbonny Toll. The tollman and his wife were old, and the house was lonely, and Bob was too terrific for any burglar. He was as tall and heavy as a foxhound, but in every other respect a pure old-fashioned, wiry, short-haired Scotch terrier, red as Rob Roy's beard, having indeed other qualities of Rob's than his hair, choleric, unscrupulous, affectionate, staunch, not in the least magnanimous, as ready to worry a little dog as a big one. Fighting was his chief end, and he omitted no opportunity of accomplishing his end. Rob liked fighting for its own sake too, but scorned to fight anything under his own weight. Indeed, was long-suffering to public meanness with quarrelsome lesser dogs. Bob had no such weakness. After much difficulty and change of masters, I bought him, I'm ashamed to say, for £5, and brought him home. He had been chained for months, was in high health and spirits, and the surplus power and activity of this great creature, as he dragged me and my son along the road, giving battle to every dog he met, was something appalling. He worried the pet dogs all around, and got me into much trouble, so I gave him as a night watchman to a goldsmith in Princess Street. This work he did famously. I once, passing at midnight, stopped at the shop and peered in at the little slip of glass, and by the gaslight I saw where he lay. I made a noise. Out came he with a roar and a bang as of a sledgehammer. I then called his name, and in an instant all was still, except a quick tapping within that intimated the wagging of the tail. He is still there, has settled down into a reputable Pacific citizen, a good deal owing perhaps to the disappearance in battle of sundry of his best teeth. As he lies in the sun before the shop door, he looks somehow like the old fighting Temeraire. I never saw a dog of the same breed. He's a sort of rough cob of a dog, a huge quantity of terrier in one skin, for he has all the fun and briskness and failings and ways of a small dog, begging and hopping as only it does. Once his master took him to North Berwick. His first day he spent in careering about the sands and rocks in the sea, for he is a noble swimmer. His next he devoted to worrying all the dogs in the town, beginning, for convenience, with the biggest. This aroused the citizens, and their fury was brought to a focus on the third day by it being reported alternately that he had torn a child's ear off, or torn and actually eaten it. Up rose the town as one man, and the women each as two, and headed by Matthew Cathy, the one-eyed and excellent shoemaker, with a tall, raw divinity student, knock-kneed and 6'2", who was his lodger, and was of course called young Dominie Sampson. They bore down upon Bob and his master, who were walking calmly on the shore. Bob was for making a stand, after the manner of Coriolanus, and banishing by instant assault the common cries of curs. But his master saw sundry guns and pistols, not to speak of an old harpoon, and took to his heels, as the only way of getting Bob to take to his. Our effects, with much noose, made for the police station, and, with the assistance of the constables and half a crown, got Thalaba locked up for the night, safe and sulky. Next morning, Sunday, when Cathy and his huge student lay uneasily asleep, dreaming of vengeance, and the early dawn was beautiful upon the Bass, with its snowy cloud of seabirds brooding on the Charmed wave, Bob was hurried up to the station, locked into a horse-box. Him never shall that ancient burg forget or see. I have a notion that dogs have humor, and are perceptive of a joke. In the north, a shepherd, having sold his sheep at market, was asked by the buyer to lend him his dog to take them home. "By a manner o' means take Birkie, and when you're done with him just play so," making a movement with his arm, "and he'll be home in a jiffy." Birkie was so clever and useful and gay that the borrower coveted him, and on getting to his farm shut him up, intending to keep him. Well, Birkie escaped during the night, and took the entire flock back to his own master. Fancy him trotting across the moor with them, they as willing as he.